All right, what's up, everyone? It is Coach Jen here, CEO and head coach of Jen Wall Fitness and the Fit and Fulfilled team. And today I'm bringing a highly requested video to you, which is how to calculate your macros and how to calculate your calories. So first of all, I do want to say that when it comes to calculating out your calories, I get a lot of times in my DMs questions about like how many calories should I be eating per day, or what should my macros be, or it's in my comments. And that's not something that I can actually just give to you, because just as with working on our team, when it comes to our coaching program, everything that we do is completely customized to the individual. We do take into consideration, lifestyle, current lifestyle, previous lifestyle, current dieting strategies, previous dieting strategies, etc. And all this needs to be taken into consideration before just giving somebody their macros. I do know, like, I have my own calorie calculator that's online. I know there's a lot of calorie calculators online. They're good in terms of in that ideal world, this ideally would be nice to have, and where we can just put in our numbers and like it pop us something out. But it actually, in the very ideal world, having numbers pop back out to us based off of what we currently do is actually what we want. So that being said, anytime that you can sit down and calculate out your own calories and your own macros yourself based off of what you currently do, that's going to give you the best results, okay? And that's exactly what we do on our team with our clients as well too. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take you through step by step how we do that in terms of calculating the calories for our clients, their starting calories, and then their starting macros. Now, as we work with our clients and we progress through, whenever your body does start to change, you will need changes in your nutrition protocols as well too, in terms of your calories and in terms of your macros. So that being said, this will just be like the starting, and then from there you have to progress forward. But maybe I can save that for another video. Now, there's a lot of free information on my Instagram. So if you want to go check it out, it's at Jen Wall Fitness. That's Jen, Jenn, Wall, Wall, Fitness. And that's on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook, on TikTok, and here on YouTube as well too. I'll share my screen with you, and then we'll go ahead and dive into how to do this on your own. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to take a 3-day record of the food that you've eaten. Now, actually, the best thing for you to do is actually take a 2-week record of food you've eaten and your weight. And your body weight every day. And that'll tell you kind of like over the trend of 2 weeks, whether you're going up in weight or down in weight, or whether you're maintaining weight. And so you kind of know how those calories are affecting you that you're eating already. But just for simplicity's sake, because everybody wants their results 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, make sure that this is simple enough for you. We're just going to do a 3-day record of food eaten and then your body weight as well too. Typically what I like to do to make sure it's really accurate is 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. So that might mean like a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It might be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. If it's not that way, that's totally fine as well too. But we'll just go ahead and say like 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day is kind of the best, because we typically have 4 to 5 weekdays and then 2 to 3 weekends, etc. So it kind of like splits it in halvesies a bit. So you're going to take your nutrients from each day. You're going to look at how many carbs, proteins, and fats you've eaten, and then you're going to determine how many calories you've eaten from that. So the formula for this is going to be calories per day is equal to 4 times carbs, 4 times proteins, 9 times fats. So you're going to go day 1. You're going to write down how many carbs you've eaten. Write down how many proteins you ate, or how much protein you ate, and how many fats you've eaten. Same thing for day 2. You write down your carbs, proteins, and your fats, and then day 3, carbs, proteins, and fats. And you're going to determine the average carbs, average proteins, and average fats. This is going to give you your average calories per day that you've eaten, okay? So it's just all this. You add all of this together, and then you divide by 3. So you'll add this together, divide by 3 to get this, add this together, divide by 3 to get this, add this together, divide by 3 to get this. And then these numbers will go into this formula, which is calories. So you'll say 4 times 250, 4 times 120. Let's go ahead and make this round up, 125, round up as well too. And then that'll determine how many calories you have here, which is that, okay? So that being said, 2090. Now, something I want us to know here that when it comes to our BMR, our typical usual BMR is around 1,500 calories, and we don't want to go below 1,500 calories at all in order to preserve our metabolic rate. So I know a lot of times when we diet, we think like, okay, we should be eating like 1,200 calories, 1,400 calories, 1,500 calories. We don't want to do that. You want to keep our calories above 1,500. So if your BMR is not, or if your calorie intake is not over 2,000 already, I would consider not going into a diet and making sure that you can actually maintain weight here first. Little sneak peek here. We're actually putting on a workshop on June 6th called the Eat More to Lose More workshop. And so it's all about improving your metabolic rate so that you can actually end up losing more weight by doing so, by eating more. So if you're not at 2,000 calories or above already, I would highly suggest getting up there before starting any type of calorie deficit. Now, next we're going to pick our calorie goal. We pick our calorie goal depending on our starting point. Okay, if we're at 25% body fat or more, we definitely want to go into a calorie deficit. If we're that 20 to 24% body fat, we can go into a calorie deficit, or we can kind of stay at maintenance, which is that 0% calorie deficit. If we're less than 20% body fat, typically at this point, we do want to go into a calorie surplus. We may want to be building muscle. Now you pick that calorie surplus or that calorie deficit depending on the severity or the intensity that you want to go at. So, you know, a slight calorie deficit of 10% is going to be this number, 20% this number. If you want to go into, again, just maintaining, it's just going to be the same number at that 0%. And then you can go to slight calorie deficit here at 10%. And if you're less than 20% body fat, you may want to go into a build. So you actually might want to go, 10% calorie surplus, or we can go into a 20% calorie surplus. Okay. Now, how do we know that we want to do this? So if we go into a build, which is going to be these top numbers here, you may want to build muscle. You might add a little bit of body fat, but you can do that because you're less than 20%. That's going to be totally fine. You're still going to look very toned and lean. For a body recomp, you want to lose body fat, build muscle, which is why the numbers are actually on the lower end, because it helps us to do both of those. You may want to stay at maintenance or go into a slight calorie deficit to lose that body fat and build muscle. And then last but not least, if you're more than 25% body fat, you definitely want to go into a calorie deficit. So that being said, you may want to go to a slight calorie deficit 10%. And if you're actually, you may want to go more aggressively if your body weight is a little bit higher. Okay, so just pick whichever one of these numbers that you want to kind of work with here. And actually to calculate this, you actually want to go calorie surplus. So it'll actually be this average number here, and then you'll just do 1 times 0.1, that equals 10%. If you want to go higher, you'll go 1, or this number here, times 1.2, which is at 20%. Now for the deficits, you're going to subtract that 10 to 20%. So it would actually be, this is 0, so this is this number here times 1.0. And then this is the same number here, your average calories, but we're subtracting 0.1, so it's actually 0.9, okay? And then last but not least, same thing here, it's the same 0.9, average times 0.9. And if we want to go to a larger calorie deficit, it's 1 minus 0.2, so it's actually 0.8. So average calories divided by times 0.8. So pick whichever one is going to be best for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this number, a calorie deficit of 10%, and we go to calculate our macros. Now everything is color coded here for you to see easily. We're going to start with our protein. So protein is really easy to calculate. We're going to use our ideal body weight. Our ideal body weight, I'm going to make note of this down here. Actually, we'll just make note of it over here. Ideal body weight is going to be equal to 100 plus every inch over 5 foot for women. Okay, so that makes it the formula equal to, let me go ahead and do this. And calculate it here, ideal body weight we're going to do, so it's going to be 100 plus 5 times inches. So it's really simple for every inch over 5 foot. So my example is I am 5'6", so it's just going to be, my inches are going to be 6. I'm 5'6". Okay. So let's go ahead and put that back there. So I'm 5'6", which means 100 plus 6 times 5, as we talked about over here. I'm going to have 130 grams for my protein. That's my protein goal. So that automatically populated over here. Now, my calories from protein is going to be 4 times 130. And if we go back here, like I said before, to calculate our calories per day, it's 4 times carbs, 4 times proteins, 9 times fats. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that same note here as well too. So we're going to keep that in mind when we go down here, that way it's not confusing. Calories from grams of fat. I like to keep this at 0.4 grams per pound. I am actually 35 pounds. So that being said, this would be like my natural body weight. Now if we are, we're going calorie deficit, right? If I had a little bit more body weight to lose, I may want to, calculate it at a higher body weight, but I'm at 135 right now. There's no reason for me to really diet. But I also just like more fats in general. So you can change this number if you want to. Typically, my typical, like where I feel really good in terms of how many grams of fat per day is going to be about 60 to 70 grams of fat. That's typically where I like to be. So if you want to use this, I like to use the 0.4. You can also go all the way up to 0.5 or 0.45, but I like to use 0.4. So we'll keep this number there. It also gives us more room to use for carbs in terms of like how many carbs I can eat, the lower the fat grams are. So that being said, calories from fat, your calories from fat is going to be 9 times the fats. So if we take a look at this, it's 9 times this number here. So we have 486. Now, my calories from protein and my calories from fat came down here. So we're going to calculate our grams of carbs. And this is how we do it. So we have our calorie goal, which is 1880. And that's what we pulled from over here because I said I wanted to be at 1880. It's 1881, but 1880. So we're going to do the calories from fats. So we're going to say this minus the calories from fats up here, minus the calories from our protein here is going to leave us with our calories from carbs. But we still want to figure out the grams of carbs to eat. So we divide by 4, which is going to be 219. Okay. So let me go ahead, write in the notes over here. Grams of carbs is equal to calorie goal minus, I'm going to do calories from fats. I'm actually going to do this fat calories minus protein calories. And then we're going to divide by 4. I think this is the trickiest part for most people. There we go. So you're going to do the subtraction first. It's going to leave you with this number, and then you divide this number by 4. It's going to leave you with the grams of carbs, which is going to be here. So in total, if I were to go into a 10% calorie deficit at 135 pounds at 5'6", and I have a moderate activity level, our macros are going to be 219 carbs, 130 protein, 54 fats, 1880 calories. And so we can also do this again as well too. Let's say my calorie goal was actually going to be a surplus, and we go to 2299, so almost 2300. I may actually go here. We just change this to number 2299. So our protein stays the same. We can actually increase this if we wanted to. We can say 0.4 times my body weight, or we can actually say maybe even up to like 0.5 times my body weight. Gives me a new protein goal. And then the calories minus the fat calories minus the protein calories gives me my carb calories, and then it changes my carb grams. So now we're at a different calorie goal. Okay, so that's how you actually want to go about calculating your own calories and your own macros. drop me any of your questions down below. I hope that this was enjoyable for you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.